Two cars are parked side by side outside a supermarket. One cost its owner £35,000, the other cost £25,000. They have the same engine, the same gearbox, the same underpinnings, and in some cases they rolled off the very same production line in the very same factory. The only real difference is the badge on the bonnet and the £10,000 one driver handed over for it. This is not a rare accident. It is how the modern car industry works, and almost nobody buying a car in Britain understands just how far it goes. By the end of this video, you will know the cars that are secretly identical twins wearing different badges, the famous brands that are quietly the same machine underneath, and the one supercar costing the price of a house that shares its bones with a family SUV you could buy for a fifth of the money. Because here is the uncomfortable truth the showroom will never tell you. A great deal of the time, you're not paying for a better car, you're paying for the badge. Let me give you the example that breaks people's brains, and then I will explain exactly how it works. There is a Lamborghini SUV, the Urus, that costs north of £200,000, the sort of car that makes people turn their heads in a car park, and it is built on the same fundamental platform, called MLB Evo, as the Audi Q7, the Porsche Cayenne, the Bentley Bentayga, and the humble Volkswagen Touareg, a car you can buy for around a fifth of the Lamborghini's price. Now, I am going to be honest with you in a way most of these videos are not. That does not mean a Touareg is a Lamborghini, and anyone who tells you it is having you on. They have different engines, different bodies, different tuning, and they feel completely different to drive. But the expensive, clever engineering underneath, the architecture the whole thing is built on, was shared across all five. One platform, 5 badges, and a price range from around £50,000 to £250,000. The most expensive engineering work, the bones of the thing, was paid for once and spread across all 5, and then each brand charged whatever its name could command. That is the game, played at the very top in the most exclusive showrooms in the country. Today, I'm going to show you how the exact same game is played all the way down to the cars on your own street, on your own driveway, and very possibly under your own bonnet. Here is the first thing you need to understand, because this matters more in Britain than almost anywhere. We are a nation obsessed with the badge. The car on the driveway is a status symbol here in a way it simply is not in some other countries, a quiet announcement to the neighbours about how well you're doing, and the industry knows it, and prices accordingly. The premium German badge in particular commands a respect on a British street that has very little to do with the metal underneath it. Worse, most of us now buy on monthly finance, on PCP deals, which means we never see the full price of the car at all. We see a monthly figure, and the extra thousands we are paying for a premium badge are quietly smeared across 36 or 48 payments, where we barely notice them leaving. £20 here, 30 there, a fortune disguised as a rounding error. And the dealer networks are deliberately kept apart, so the salesman selling you the expensive badge has no interest whatsoever in telling you that its cheaper twin is sitting in a different showroom down the road with the same engine inside it. The whole system is designed so that you compare a car only against its supposed rivals, never against the identical cousin wearing a humbler name. We are, in short, the perfect market for paying over the odds for a logo, and that is exactly what millions of us do every single month, without ever realizing there was another way. I want to be transparent about how this was put together, because there is a lot of nonsense talked about this subject online. This is based on the manufacturer's own published platform information, the shared engines and gearboxes you can literally read stamped on the components under the bonnet, the factories where these cars are built, which are often one and the same, and the public record of which giant corporation actually owns which badge. I've been careful throughout to separate two very different things, the literal twins and the platform cousins, which most people online lump together and get badly wrong in both directions, either claiming two cars are identical when they only share a flaw, or insisting a premium car is somehow unique when it is sitting on the same architecture as a car costing half as much. No manufacturer paid for a word of this, and the premium brands in particular would much rather you did not think about any of it. So let me explain that crucial distinction, because it is the key to everything, and it is where you must not be fooled in either direction. There are two separate practices here. The first is badge engineering, also called rebadging, and this is the real thing. The same car, the same body, the same everything, sold under 2 or more different names, sometimes side by side in the same market. A genuinely identical vehicle with a different grille and a different badge. the same way a supermarket sells you the branded tin and its own label tin from the very same factory. The second is platform sharing, which is different and far more common. Two cars that share the same underlying platform, the floor, the engines, the gearboxes, the basic structure, but have genuinely different bodies, interiors, tuning, and quality of materials. A platform mate is not the same car, it is a close cousin built on the same bones. The industry does this because designing a car from scratch costs billions of pounds and years of work, so a group spreads that enormous cost across a dozen or more models, sharing the expensive invisible engineering while giving each brand its own visible skin. And here is the fair, honest part, because I'm not here to tell you the whole thing is a con. Platform sharing is often genuinely good for you. It means proven, reliable engineering that has been tested across millions of cars, cheaper and more available parts, and wider servicing. A shared platform is usually a more dependable platform. The problem is not the sharing itself, the problem is the price you are charged for the badge bolted on top, and whether the extra you hand over buys anything you can actually feel. So the literal twins first, then the badge ladders, then the names behind it all. Start with the rebadges, the cars that are secretly, literally the same vehicle. The cleanest example on sale today is the Mazda 2. Buy the hybrid version and you have not really bought a Mazda at all, because the Mazda 2 hybrid is a Toyota Yaris, built by Toyota on Toyota's platform, with Toyota's hybrid system and a Mazda badge stuck on the front. Mazda needed a small hybrid in a hurry to meet tightening emissions rules. Toyota had the best one in the business, and so the deal was done. It is a fine car because the Yaris is a fine car, but understand what is happening. You are choosing between two badges on one machine, and the price, the warranty and the dealer experience are the only things that actually differ. Pick the one that gives you the best of those three, because the car itself is identical. Then there are the vans where this reaches almost comical levels. There is one mid-size van built by Stellantis that is sold as the Vauxhall Vivaro, the Peugeot Expert, the Citroën Dispatch, the Fiat Scudo, and through a partnership the Toyota Pros, 5 badges, 1 van. There is a smaller one sold as the Vauxhall Combo, the Peugeot Partner, the Citroën Berlingo, the Fiat Doblo and the Toyota Pro City, and a big one shared as the Fiat Ducato, the Peugeot Boxer and the Citroën Relay. A tradesman choosing between them is not comparing products, he is comparing logos and price lists for the identical vehicle, and the badge he picks can swing the price by £1,000 or more for exactly the same van, and it is not new, this trick. Older British buyers will remember the Toyota Aygo, the Citroën C1 and the Peugeot 108, 3 near-identical city cars built side by side in the same Czech factory. Or the Volkswagen Up, the Seat Me and the Skoda Citigo, the same tiny car with 3 badges and 3 prices, the Skoda almost always the cheapest of the 3 for no penalty whatsoever. The names change over the years, but the game never does. It happens in the exciting cars too, the ones people get emotional about. The Toyota Supra, that reborn legend, shares its platform, its straight-six engine, and a great deal more with the BMW Z4, the 2 co-developed together and built in the same Austrian factory by Magna Steyr, running BMW power. Purists grumbled about a BMW heart in a Toyota icon, but there it is. The Toyota GR86 sports car and the Subaru BRZ are the same car from a joint venture, as are the Toyota BZ4X and the Subaru Solterra electric cars, which between them passed 100,000 sales by last year wearing 2 different badges. And Toyota's partnership with Suzuki gives us the Suzuki Across, which is a Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid, and the Suzuki Swace, which is a Toyota Corolla estate. Once you start seeing it, you cannot stop. The badge on the grille is very often just the badge. Now the badge ladders, where you do not get the same car but you get the same bones at wildly different prices, and this is where the real money is made and lost. The Volkswagen Group is the master of it. The Volkswagen Golf, the Audi A3, the Seat Leon, the Cupra, and the Skoda Octavia are all built on the same platform called MQB, which underpins more than 40 different models across the group, with the same engines and the same gearboxes shared between them. They are not identical cars, the bodies and interiors genuinely differ, and the Audi does feel a cut above inside, but mechanically they are siblings. And the prices are not siblings at all. The Audi wears the premium 4 rings and charges the premium price. The Skoda Octavia gives you the same engine, the same gearbox and the same core engineering for thousands of pounds less, with an interior that uses a few more hard plastics and switchgear that is, in many cases, literally the same parts with a different logo moulded into them. Here is the one that should make you laugh out loud. The Skoda Octavia VRS and the Volkswagen Golf GTI share the same engine. The hot Skoda is, mechanically, a Golf GTI in a roomier, more practical suit, for noticeably less money. You're not losing the performance, you're losing the badge and keeping the cash, and in the Octavia's case, getting a bigger boot into the bargain. It runs through every group. Hyundai and Kia are sister companies under one owner, Hyundai Motor Group, so the Hyundai i10 and the Kia Picanto, the Tucson and the Sportage, the Kona and the Stonic are pairs of close cousins sharing platforms and engines, which means if a Hyundai dealer will not do you a deal, the near-identical Kia down the road might, often with a longer warranty thrown in. Vauxhall and Peugeot, now both part of Stellantis, share their guts too, so the Vauxhall Corsa and the Peugeot 208 are platform mates under the skin, as are the Vauxhall Mokka and the Peugeot 2008 and the Vauxhall Astra and the Peugeot 308. Renault and Dacia are the same story at the budget end. A Dacia is, to a large degree, a Renault built on a proven older platform and sold without the Renault markup, which is precisely why Dacias are such extraordinary value and why the badge snobs miss out. The lesson is always the same. The rivals you are agonising between are very often cousins from the same family, and one of them is quietly cheaper, for reasons that have nothing to do with the car and everything to do with the name. And to return to where we started, the MLB Evo platform that carries the Volkswagen Touareg also carries the Audi Q7, the Porsche Cayenne, the Bentley Bentayga, and the Lamborghini Urus. They share the architecture, the basic structure, even clever bits like the 48-volt anti-roll system, while each brand bolts on its own engine, its own body, and its own tuning to justify its own price, which is why a used Touareg or Q7 can give you a great deal of that big, solid, planted, long-distance feeling that people pay Bentley money for a fraction of the outlay. You're not buying the badge, you're buying the engineering the badge was built on. So before I show you the handful of giants that own nearly all of it, I want to ask you something directly, and I read every reply. Tell me in the comments the badge you have paid extra for, with no judgment at all, or the cheaper twin you bought on purpose and felt quietly clever about, because I suspect this video is going to make a few people look at their own driveway in a whole new light. And tell me which of these pairings genuinely surprised you. My guess is the Mazda that is a Toyota, or the Lamborghini that shares a floor with a Volkswagen. Just rearrange something in your head that you cannot unrearrange. That is rather the point. Once you have seen the parts bin behind the badges, you can never quite unsee it, and you will never shop for a car the same way again. Now, the names behind the names, because this is the part that reveals the whole illusion of choice. When you walk into the car market and see dozens of competing brands, you're really looking at a handful of enormous corporations. The Volkswagen Group alone owns Volkswagen, Audi, Skoda, Seat and Cupra, plus Porsche, Bentley and Lamborghini, and even Ducati motorbikes through Lamborghini. Stellantis, formed from a giant merger of the Peugeot Group and Fiat Chrysler in 2021, owns Vauxhall, Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Jeep, Maserati, DS, Lancia, Abarth and more. 14 brands under one roof. The Renault Group owns Dacia and Alpine, and is allied with Nissan, Infiniti and Mitsubishi in a sprawling alliance. Hyundai owns Kia and the upmarket Genesis. BMW owns Mini and Rolls-Royce. Mercedes-Benz has its own AMG and Maybach. Tata of India owns Jaguar and Land Rover. Ford has Lincoln. And then there is the one that should genuinely surprise you. The Chinese giant Geely, a name many Britons have never heard, quietly owns Volvo, Polestar, Lotus, Lynk and Co., the maker of the London Black Cab, the Malaysian brand Proton, and holds a major stake in Mercedes-Benz itself, as well as in Aston Martin. A dozen or so corporations, hundreds of badges, and a shared parts bin behind almost all of it. The fierce rivalry you see on the showroom floor and in the adverts is to a remarkable degree a performance staged by companies that, behind the curtain, are often the very same company. Here are the rules, the ones that turn all this into money back in your pocket. Rule 1. Before you buy any car, find out what it shares its platform with, because the answer is one quick search away, and it instantly widens your options from one car to 3 or 4. Rule 2. When you find a premium car you like, check the cheaper twin from the same group, the Skoda against the Audi, the Seat against the Volkswagen, the Vauxhall against the Peugeot, and compare them like for like on mileage, spec and condition, because you may be one badge away from keeping several £1,000s. Rule 3. If you do want the premium badge, and that is a perfectly valid choice that I'm not going to sneer at, buy it used, and let the first owner take the enormous depreciation hit, because a 3-year-old premium car has already shed the badge premium for you, and you get the badge at the cousin's price. Rule 4. With sister brands like Hyundai and Kia, or Peugeot and Vauxhall, play the two dealers against each other, because you are buying nearly the same car and the better deal. The longer warranty or the cheaper finance is the only thing that should decide it. And Rule 5. Be honest with yourself about what you are actually buying. If you genuinely value the badge, the smarter interior and the image it projects, then pay for it with your eyes open and enjoy it. Just never ever pay for it by accident, which is how almost everybody pays for it. Now the arithmetic, because this is where it lands in your bank account. Say you have your heart set on a premium hatchback at £33,000. Its platform mate from the value brand in the same group, with the same engine and the same gearbox, is 26. That is £7,000 for an interior that is a little plainer and a badge that is a little quieter. Put that £7,000 on a typical PCP and it is buried in your monthly payment where you will never feel it leave, perhaps £120 a month that you simply absorb. Over 2 or 3 cars across your driving life, that badge premium can compound into tens of thousands of pounds, real money handed over for engineering you could have had for less, money that could have been a deposit, a holiday, a pension. And on the used market, the maths get even starker, because the premium badge takes the biggest depreciation hit of all in its first 3 years. So the cheaper twin and the older premium car often end up meeting in the middle, where the informed buyer is waiting, able to choose either the nearly new value car or the slightly older premium one for the same money. The badge is not free. It is one of the most expensive things you will ever buy, precisely because it is the one thing on the car that adds nothing you can drive, nothing you can feel through the wheel, and nothing that gets you to work any faster. It only adds what other people think when they see it, and that is a very expensive thing to buy by accident. So here is the bottom line. The car market sells you the feeling of choice, dozens of proud competing badges, while a dozen corporations quietly build them from the same shared kit of parts. Some of these cars are secretly identical twins. Most of the rest are close cousins on the same bones, dressed up and priced apart to play on exactly the status consciousness that runs so deep in this country. None of it is a scandal exactly, and platform sharing genuinely makes cars cheaper to build, more reliable to own and easier to repair, so I am not asking you to be angry about it. The scandal, if there is one, is only ever in the price you are charged for the badge, and whether you knew you were paying it when you signed. A great many British drivers are paying a premium of thousands of pounds on finance for a logo they assumed came with a better car underneath, when the better car underneath was sitting in a cheaper showroom all along. Now you know. Look past the grille, find the cousin, compare them honestly, and pay for a logo only if you genuinely, knowingly want the logo. The smartest drivers in Britain are not the ones with the proudest badge on the driveway. They are the ones who knew it was the same car all along and spent the difference on something that actually mattered, rather than on the opinion of a stranger in a car park. If this video changed how you see the cars on your street, subscribe so you never miss the next one, and send it to anyone about to pay a premium for a badge. That is all.